the jacket that was found under the car had microscopic fibers inside one of the sleeves. This was per an FBI report found by Dale Myers when he was at the National Archives. In this FBI report dated December of 1963, it said dark blue, gray black, and orange yellow cotton fibers were found inside the sleeve. Now, they also removed test fibers for comparison purposes from the shirt that Oswald was wearing when he was arrested. And these test fibers were the same, they were also dark blue, gray black, and orange yellow cotton fibers. So when you compare microscopic fibers forensically, you're doing so based on three characteristics: color, shade, and twist. The colors, shade, and twist, these fibers that were found inside the sleeve of the jacket found under the car behind the Texaco station were the same exact color, shade, and twist as test fibers removed from Oswald's arrest shirt. And my biggest question is, when he left the rooming house, Oswald had on a jacket. And when he's seen by Johnny Brewer testified to the Warren Commission that Oswald had no jacket on when he saw him out on the sidewalk, ducking into his little vestibule there at the shoe store. Why did Oswald get rid of the jacket between the rooming house and the shoe store? Forget 10th and Patton. Pretend like Oswald was never at 10th and Patton. Forget the jacket found under the car behind the Texaco station for a moment. He's at the rooming house, zipping up a jacket as he goes out the door. He's at the shoe store on Jefferson with no jacket on. And that's according to Johnny Brewer's Warren Commission testimony in 1964, no jacket. Nobody's ever been able to answer for me satisfactorily, reasonably, why Oswald ditched his jacket between the rooming house and the shoe store.
So what are you not telling listeners? What are you omitting from that?
I pretty much made my case right there.
What do you think I'm going to say?
Go ahead and say it, Matt, whatever you're going to say.
This is a good question. What do you think my response is going to be?
Well, when I asked you last year, you said, we don't know what happened to the jacket that he was wearing when he left the rooming house.
Exactly. And now I have a better answer.
Well, you don't have a better answer. You have a different answer, but it's not better. It's not any better.
It's better. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, correct. Okay. So first
you
of all,
can bring up what Johnny Brewer supposedly told Oliver Stone's crew.
Okay. So first of all, you declared that the fibers found in the jacket match Oswald's shirt, right? And same thing with round one last year. I did not really have a good answer for that either. I brought up, cross-contamination and that stuff. But I'll just say this.
Which there's no evidence of.
Out of the millions of pages in the National Archives, only a single page, random page, claims this. Wasn't mentioned in the Warren report or testimony. Wasn't mentioned by the HSCA. Who did the alleged test? When? Where? Where are the test results? Where are the lab reports? See, we don't know jack. All we have is a single random page claiming this. Absolute hearsay.
It's an FBI report. It's an FBI report, Matt.
Yeah.
That's in evidence.
It's just one. There's only one page in the National Archives that mentions this. It's just one page.
How many reports do you want them to make? 8 reports so that you can be happy and say there's 8 pages? One report.
Who did the test?
The FBI. It's an FBI report.
I want names. Who did it? Who?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking you. You're making the claim.
My claim is that these fibers were compared forensically.
Yes.
And they were matched. The same color, the same shade, and the same twist. And when we're done, we can post information about this report in the discussion sections.
It's just one information. You see what you did to slide that in there? No, it's just one page that claims this. One page.
How many pages do you want there to be? What difference does that make?
I just asked you the question. First of all, who did the test? Who did this test? Alleged test. Who?
I said I have to look it up. We can post the information about the FBI report.
Again, there's only one page. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you who did it. Who did it? Tell me. You don't know. We don't know.
There's an FBI report, Matt. My claim
I know. It's one page.
My claim is that there's an FBI report that was found in the National Archives in College Park, Maryland, that says the fibers found inside the jacket
I know what you're saying. I know what you're
were
saying.
a
No,
dead match with the
that is
fibers taken
CD7.
from Oswald's arrest shirt.
I know what your claim is. That's CD7, page 352. I know. But no, tell me, who did the test? I want names. Since you're making the claim. Who did this test?
I'd have to go look up that information.
There is no information. It's just a single page.
So because you haven't been able to find it, there's no information.
You're the one who's making the claim that there's evidence.
Because you haven't been able to find it means that there's no information. Is that what you're saying?
There's nothing else.
Let me get you to commit. Let me get you to commit. Are you saying that there's no information about who did this that can be found out there about who did this examination?
If there was, it would be published in your favorite book, but it's not. All we have is a single random page that just suddenly claims this. Listen, for the listeners reading, we know who all the other items of evidence that were tested. We know the names of everyone and of who tested them. And, we have papers and results and everything. But this is just a random claim on a random document in the National Archives. We don't know, and it wasn't mentioned in the Warren Report or the HSCA or in, so who did the alleged test? We don't know. When was it done? We don't know. Where? Where are the test results?
The testing was done by lab technicians at the FBI.
Who? I want names. Who did this?
Lab techs at the FBI. That's all I know. But it wasn't like privately contracted out or anything like that. These were lab techs at the FBI.
Where are the test results? Where are the lab reports? Where are the notes? We have nothing. We just have a claim on a random document. That doesn't cut the mustard, bro. It doesn't. We just have a claim. We have a claim. A claim.
We
don't have evidence. We don't have evidence. We have a claim. Anyway, you said Johnny Brewer, he testified he saw Oswald with no jacket. But, and you asked me about that, and I gave a bad response. I said, well, we don't know. But I do have a better answer now. Or
before you get to that, let me tell you this. This isn't with malice, okay? FBI. This is regarding the fibers and the report found by Dale Myers.
Yes, it's
FBI RIF 124-10009-10499. It's an FBI memo from Jevons to Conrad dated December 3rd of 63, which I already stated. Now, it says here, since fiber characteristics are not exclusive to any one particular shirt, the results of the FBI lab exam only mean that the fibers found in the gray zipper jacket came from Oswald's arrest shirt or another shirt of the same material, which is what I've always said. Nearly 4 months after this report was complete, the Warren Commission initiated an investigation into the jacket's laundry tag in an effort to identify the owner, adding, the jacket has been identified by certain witnesses as the jacket of Oswald, even though Matt Douthit said that's not true. But we would prefer more exact identification. This is House Select Committee Assassination RIF 180-10060-10246, which is a letter J. Lee Rankin to Hoover, March of 64. Now I'm almost done. Former Warren Commission counsel David Beelan was asked in 1998 letter why the Warren Commission never used the lab report to establish ownership of the jacket or to show Oswald's presence near the Tippit murder scene. In his reply, Beelan wrote, there already was overwhelming evidence to tie Oswald to the Tippit murder shooting in light of the positive identification of Oswald as the man with the gun by William Scoggins, Barbara Davis, Virginia Davis, Ted Calloway, Sam Gagnon, and Helen Markham. Moreover, Oswald was apprehended with the murder weapon in his hand, as confirmed by the cartridge cases turned over to the police by witnesses at the Tippit murder scene. At the time of the Warren Commission investigation, experts retained by the commission determined that individual fibers, like hairs, are not unique. Under all of the circumstances, I did not believe that the quality of the evidence compared with the ballistic identification of the cartridge cases found at the murder scene. We know now through DNA analysis that hairs can be identified as uniquely coming from a particular individual. In other words, they didn't think it was worth it. And he's probably right. Because all the fibers will tell you, and this is what I also was going to say, all the fibers are going to tell you is that whoever was wearing the jacket either was wearing Oswald's shirt when he was arrested, the shirt that Oswald was wearing when he was arrested, or they were wearing a shirt with the exact same fiber characteristics.
Again,
so therefore, no one is using the fibers found in the sleeve, the microscopic fibers found in the sleeve of the jacket, as proof that Oswald was wearing that jacket. We're simply saying that the fibers found in the sleeve are a dead match with the fibers taken from Oswald's arrest shirt. And there's no evidence of any contamination either, cross-contamination.
So you said so what you read, you say it's not, no one's claiming as proof. Do you know what the name of the chapter is that you just read that from? Proof positive. But anyway, okay. So
that doesn't, nobody's claiming, no, and Dale Myers in his own words specifically spells out in parentheses, and I read that.
So again, everything you just said.
He specifically spells out that just because fibers were found in the jacket that matched the shirt does not mean as a fact that Oswald was wearing that jacket. It just means that whoever was wearing the jacket was also wearing a shirt exactly like Oswald's with the same fiber characteristics.
Are you done?
So get back to like what happened to the jacket Oswald was wearing when he left the rooming house, between the rooming house and the shoe store. Because Johnny Brewer told the Warren Commission in 1964, as a fact, he was directly asked if Oswald was wearing a jacket. He said no.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so everything that you just read does not debunk anything I just said. Like I said, all we have is a claim on a single piece of paper that these fibers match. It wasn't mentioned by anyone, anywhere. We don't know who tested it. We don't know where it was tested. We don't have lab reports. We don't have test results. We don't have notes. We do on all the other pieces of evidence, which is credible. Now, if there was all this stuff on this fiber evidence, then yeah, that would be convincing. But we don't. We just have a claim on a random piece of paper out of the millions of pages in the National Archives, just a claim. And it's not backed by anything. Probably they just, who knows, they probably threw it in there because some eager beaver like you might jump on it because they knew their case wasn't good. But anyway,
well, I'm just telling you, it's a memo from Jimmins to Conrad, December 63, talking about the FBI, the results of the lab techs is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the same page you are. Okay.
Right. Okay. So you asked the question. It's a memo from Jevons to Conrad, dated December 3rd, 1963, discussing that lab technicians.
Who are the lab technicians? Who?
I have no idea. I've never seen.
We have no idea.
I've never seen the memo.
Hearsay. This is just a claim. This is just hearsay. It's just a claim. It's hearsay. We have nothing.
Why is it hearsay? Why is it hearsay?
It's a claim. We have nothing to go on.
Why is it hearsay? And do you ever rely on hearsay?
Forget about hearsay. It's a claim.
No, hold on a minute now. You talk about, you said hearsay. You talk about Al Chapman and Jimmy Burt in 1968. Jimmy Burt saying it was not Oswald.
We have the raw interview transcript of that interview. But anyway, getting back on track, this right here is just a claim. A claim that's not backed up by anything. Now, like I said, if we had
just a claim by Al Chapman. Also,
no, it's not. Different. It's in the interview's in the National Archives. Oh my God!
Matt, it's still just no. Is it audio? Is it audio or video or film? Is it audio or film? Jimmy Burt.
It's a transcript based on audio. Listen, I'm sure the audio is in there. I don't think anyone has gone that deep, but we have the transcript. I can post it for you. But anyway, this whole fiber thing is a claim. There's no evidence to back it up. It wasn't mentioned by the Warren Report or the HSCA or David Bellin in his who you read from in his book. It wasn't mentioned by anyone. It's a claim on a single random page. And
Bellin did not mention the fibers because he didn't feel like when you already had the shells incriminating Oswald and the witnesses incriminating Oswald, the fibers didn't mean anything. And he's right.
We're talking about the fibers. So again, there's nothing to back this up on. I didn't have a good answer in round one last year, but so I think this was a better answer. Okay, so you mentioned Johnny Brewer testified that he saw Oswald with no jacket. And you say, oh, why would ditch his jacket? Well, as I pointed out a couple months ago, as I recently pointed out, if you sit down and talk with Brewer,
you pointed it out because I told you.
Let me finish. But as I recently pointed out, if you actually sit down and talk with Brewer, he'll tell you that
you don't know that. You have no way of knowing that. You have no way of knowing
Chris, I'm not even done making my claim, my argument, and he's interrupting. Okay. Third time, Jesus, as I recently pointed out, if you sit down and talk with Brewer, he'll tell you that he never read his printed Warren Commission testimony until 1991, and that actually Oswald was in fact wearing a jacket. Okay? So, and that is JFK, the book of the film, the documented screenplay, which had pages 173 to 174. So I'm turning it around on you. This proves that he didn't kill Tippit.
No, it doesn't.
Hold on. Never. I just want to tell this to the reader, to the listeners. Never take at face value what a document says. It's always double check things with the actual eyewitnesses. Okay. Always have to do that. I think I said that earlier.
First of all, Oswald, Johnny Brewer said in '64 to the Warren Commission, they asked him straight up, was he wearing a jacket? He said no. But let's say for a second that Oswald was wearing a jacket in front of the shoe store. How does that prove that he didn't kill Tippit? Because Helen Markham.
Your claim is that he ditched it.
No, your but your claim it's two different things. You're trying to take two different things and combine them into one. Okay, your claim right now is that Oswald wearing a jacket, as supposedly seen by Johnny Brewer on Jefferson, is proof that he didn't kill Oswald. That he didn't kill Tippit. And I'm asking you, how is that possibly true?
Your whole argument is he wasn't wearing a jacket, so that proves he killed Tippit because he ditched his jacket. But I'm turning it around on you.
Forget Warren Commission Exhibit 162 and forget the jacket found under the car. Forget it for a second. You said that Oswald wearing a jacket on Jefferson is proof he didn't kill Tippit, and I'm asking you how. How is that proof?
Wait, say it again. I missed the last part.
Forget the jacket found under the car. Forget Warren Commission Exhibit 162. Forget that for a second. You said that by Johnny Brewer saying that Oswald was wearing a jacket on Jefferson, it's proof that he didn't kill Oswald. That's what you just said. They didn't kill Tippit. You said that that's proof that Oswald did not kill Tippit.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you, how is that proof?
Because if he's still wearing a jacket, for those that
every witness said the killer was wearing a jacket. Every one of them.
Exactly. Okay, let me finish. For those that don't know, the official story is that Oswald ditched his jacket.
I already said forget ditching the jacket, Matt. Forget that part. Every witness at the scene at 10th and Patton had Oswald wearing a jacket, or the killer wearing a jacket.
Correct. So what are we talking about? What's your question?
My question is very clear. You said that Oswald, if he was wearing a jacket on Jefferson, which he wasn't, but if he was, you said that's proof he didn't kill Tippit. I'm asking you, how is that proof?
It's proof because the official story is that he ditched it, and if he is still wearing a jacket, then he didn't kill Tippit because
if he's still wearing a jacket, all it means is he didn't ditch it. It doesn't mean he didn't kill Tippit. How are you making that leap to that proving he didn't kill Tippit?
Because the official story, like I said, is that he ditched his jacket. Is that he did? By the way, it's your argument that because he was supposedly not wearing a jacket, that means he killed Tippit. That's what your argument is, right? So I'm flipping it around on you. Johnny Brewer, if you actually talk with him, says he was.
I'm not saying because Oswald wasn't.
I'm turning it around. That proves that he didn't kill Tippit. See what I mean?
Oswald.
I love this.
Oswald wearing a jacket on Jefferson, if he were wearing a jacket, which he was not, does not prove he didn't kill Tippit. That's an absurd statement. Every single witness to the Tippit murder or the fleeing suspect said he was wearing a jacket.
So why do you bring up the fact that he was allegedly not wearing a jacket when Johnny Brewer sees him? What's the point?
Because Johnny Brewer was very clear in his Warren Commission testimony, which you're claiming without evidence, really, that has been doctored or faked or false. Johnny Brewer specifically said in his Warren Commission testimony that Oswald was not wearing a jacket when he saw him on Jefferson Boulevard. He was not wearing a jacket.
Okay, so as I said, never.
If I remember correctly, and I'm not looking up like you're doing, I'm not looking up all this testimony stuff. If I recall correctly, Johnny Brewer may have even described the shirt in some detail about whether it was tucked in or the shirt tails or something like that. I can't recall for sure right now, but I can certainly go look.
Okay.
Oswald was not wearing a jacket on Jefferson.
So in his print, okay. So I thought I was clear before. Johnny Brewer, if you sit down and talk with him, he'll tell you that he never read his printed Warren Commission testimony to check if everything was accurate or everything. He didn't read it until 28 years later.
This is according to Oliver Stone and his film crew, Matt.
Yeah, they interviewed him.
You don't know that Johnny Brewer ever said such a thing like that. You don't know that if you sit down with Johnny Brewer today, he's going to tell you that Oswald wasn't wearing a jacket. You're just talking about Oliver Stone. You know that the movie JFK.
Sat down and talked with him.
You know the movie JFK wasn't true, right?
They sat down and talked with him, and he said, "No, actually, I never read. I never read my Warren Commission testimony until now. When I saw Oswald, he was." And
I call bullshit. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit on that.
Okay, it's a free country. It's a free country.
No, but you don't have a right to say, if you sit down with Johnny Brewer, he'll tell you. You don't have a right to say that.
Yes, he will.
You're going on hearsay from Oliver Stone's film crew, whoever it was wrote that book about the movie.
Okay, so I guess.
Well, are you going on hearsay or not?
How about Chris?
Will you please answer that question real quick?
How about Chris?
You won't answer the question because you criticize others when they use hearsay, but you won't accept it when you're using hearsay.
I'm not using hearsay. I have a photo. I have a photo of Johnny Brewer on the set of JFK.
How the hell does that prove what he said? Supposedly
in the movie, and he was a advisor to that scene when they showed that scene in the movie of Oswald in his foyer. And what's in the movie? Oswald.
As I told you, as I made you aware, the movie has Oswald wearing a jacket.
Correct. Exactly. Yes.
Because Oliver Stone's going to do that, Matt. That's why. You know, JFK is not a true movie, right? It's not factual.
Okay,
you realize it's fiction. It's Hollywood. It's a movie.
I implore people to get this book, JFK, the book of the film, the documented screenplay. Every single sentence is footnoted, and it's not just the screenplay. There are footnotes, endnotes, articles by many other researchers, reporters, and stuff like that. It's a very interesting book. It has side stories and side notes about them filming, and this was one of them. How Johnny Brewer was a consultant on the movie. That they brought him on the set. I have a picture of him on the set, and he told them, the film crew, this is a major Hollywood film crew, that actually he said, you know what? I never read my Warren Commission testimony until now. And he read it, and he said, actually, Oswald, when I saw him, he was wearing a jacket when I saw him. And that's in the movie that he's wearing a jacket because he's right there on set telling them, how it should look.
He wasn't on set telling them that. Listen. So, okay. So let's throw out his Warren Commission testimony. Throw it out. Okay. His affidavit. Okay. His affidavit on December 6th of 1963, it says, on a Friday, November 22nd, 1963, I was at work at Hardy's Shoe Store, 213 West Jefferson. I had heard on the radio that the president had been shot, also that a policeman had been shot in Oak Cliff. About 1:30 p.m., I saw a man standing in the lobby of the shoe store. This man was wearing a brown sports shirt. He also acted scared, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I agree. He was wearing a brown shirt.
He didn't say he was wearing a jacket, Matt. He said he was wearing a brown sports shirt.
So what?
So now we're going to throw out. So now Brewer's Warren Commission testimony has been doctored, and so is his affidavit to the Dallas County. I never
said that his Warren Commission testimony was doctored, Bill. I've never said that. They asked him
in his Warren Commission testimony. He says the guy was not wearing a jacket.
Could I talk? No, it says it was a yes or no question. It says no. But a no can simply be a mistake.
Come on, stop that. That's bullshit. No, he was asked if Oswald was wearing a jacket, and he said no. And then his affidavit, he says he was wearing a brown sports shirt.
Again, he said they sat down and talked with him, and he said, I never read my Warren.
You don't know that they sat down and talked to him, and he said it.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
You don't know that that's what he said. You're not listening to me.
Okay, then we'll have to contact.
And you think a photo of him talking to someone is proof of what he said? That's absurd too. His affidavit. This man was wearing a brown sports shirt. And then he goes on to describe the way Oswald was acting. He doesn't say anything about him wearing a jacket. He wasn't wearing a jacket. Brewer says in two different occasions, the man, he makes no, number one, he's asked if he's wearing a jacket. He says no. The other occasion in his affidavit, he describes the man as wearing a brown sports shirt. Nothing about a jacket. You just need to face it. He wasn't wearing a jacket. You were right last year when you acknowledged he was not wearing a jacket on Jefferson. You don't know why you ditched it. That was a way better answer than this bullshit about what he supposedly told the people that wrote the book for Oliver Stone's movie JFK. It's bullshit. So you're going to criticize the Warren Commission testimony and how Brewer never saw it. What about it? I'm asking you, what about his affidavit? The man was wearing a brown sports shirt. Period.
Brown shirt. Yeah, sure. The brown shirt more than the jacket. Simple as
That
that.
is ridiculous, Matt. That is ridiculous. That is absolute. You want to talk in the beginning about making excuses?
You can yell, but that doesn't make it true, Bill. I'm telling you. Hey, listen. I've been trying to say this 5 times. Chris, call Johnny Brewer up. Have him on your show. Ask him. Do it.
About 1:30 p.m., I saw a man standing in the lobby of the shoe store. This man was wearing a brown sports shirt. He also acted as if he was scared.
So
Period.
he didn't mention the jacket.
Period.
He forgot to mention
Nothing about the jacket.
So what?
Do you want to go on to your next topic now, which is the wallet?
No. I'm not going to. No.
Okay.
So
all right.
hold on. So again, Chris, our host, you still there? Is our host here? Hello?
Let's just keep going. Go on about.
Okay. So Chris can, or you can call him, can have Johnny Brewer on this podcast, on this show right here, and you can ask him.
Good luck with that. The guy doesn't return calls, and I don't blame him.
If I can get a word in, Jesus. So it's simple. The brown shirt made a bigger impact on him more than the jacket. But if you
bullshit.
Okay, you can swear and shout all you want, but that doesn't make it true. I'm telling you.
Bullshit.
Okay, I can tell you. You gonna stop swearing and let me talk? Final word. He will tell you that he never read his Warren Commission testimony until 27 years later. He said,
what about his affidavit when he says the man was wearing a brown sports shirt? He doesn't mention the jacket.
Sports shirt obviously made a bigger impact on him more than the jacket.
That is nonsense, and you're making excuses.
It's whatever. So
go on with the wallet, because
call him up, and he'll tell you that Oswald was wearing a brown shirt. I'm sorry, was wearing a jacket. He
will tell you. He will tell you Oswald was wearing a brown shirt, because that's what he said in his affidavit in December.
You don't get to laugh at me. I made a simple mistake.
This man was wearing a brown shirt. Period.
Yes, everyone agrees he was wearing a brown shirt.
Period.
So no, period. He was also wearing a jacket.
No, he wasn't.
If that's true, that proves he didn't kill.
If he was wearing a jacket, he would have said in his affidavit. He would have said he was wearing a jacket in his affidavit.
You don't know that.
The brown sports shirt.
Okay, I've talked to so many witnesses in this case. They tell stuff that little subtle details that they never testified to, because just because it's not in testimony does not mean it didn't happen.
There's no chance that Oswald is wearing a jacket, and all Brewer does is mention a brown sports shirt in his affidavit.
Now, as I told you, okay, we're just going around in circles. I told you.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Obviously, the shirt made a bigger impact on him more than the jacket.
Bullshit.
Matter. Okay, what's the next topic?
The wallet. Your topic.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a very conundrum. This next topic, letting the readers know about the wallet. Okay, so in his 1996 autobiography, FBI agent James Hosty dropped a major bombshell. He wrote, quote, near the puddle of blood where Tippit's body had lain, Westbrook had found a man's leather wallet. In it, he discovered identification for Lee Oswald, as well as other identification for Alec Heidel. Westbrook called Agent Bob Barrett over and showed him the wallet and identifications. Westbrook asked Barrett if the FBI knew anything about Oswald or Heidel. Barrett shook his head. And there's even news footage of officers at the crime scene inspecting the wallet. This is shocking and flies right in the face of the official story, which has the police obtaining Oswald's wallet from him when arrested. But actually, when closely examined, the wallet in the news footage and Oswald's wallet in evidence are not the same. Okay? So what's going on? When the news footage of the wallet aired that day, we were told, quote, this is the officer's billfold that was found lying on the ground right alongside of the car, end quote. But this too cannot be, because Officer Tippit's wallet was on his person when he died and later given to his widow. Moreover, it's the wrong color than the wallet in the news footage. So, if not Oswald's arrest wallet and not Tippit's wallet, then whose wallet was it? Well, according to officers at the scene, it did contain an Oswald and Heidel ID. Agent Bob Barrett, he again, like I said, Captain Westbrook called him over and was thumbing through a wallet. And he asked him if he knew a Heidel or an Oswald, and he said no. Officer Leonard Jez, told a conference in 1999 that the wallet was identified at the murder scene as belonging to Oswald. And we have Sergeant Kenneth Croy. He put in writing that to researcher Ferris Rickstoll III that he was the, quote, first on the scene and, quote, recovered Oswald's wallet there too, end quote. In all, Oswald had 4 wallets. I mean, this in and of itself is bizarre, but after all, he was a government agent, but that's another story for another show. Is it possible he had a 5th one that was thrown down at the scene to frame him? It appears so. It seems so. Sergeant Croy told researcher Jones Harris that a civilian had approached him and handed him the wallet. Officer Croy further told your buddy, Mr. Dale Myers, that the civilian explained that the killer had thrown the wallet down as he fled. Okay, now since no sane person would leave behind his wallet after committing a murder, we possibly have to conclude that this was a deliberate action to frame Oswald. That is, if this account is true. If, however, the Tippit murder was not connected to the assassination in any way, which is a possibility, as some have speculated, then perhaps after hearing an officer had been shot, is it entirely out of the realm of possibility that a conspirator, seeing an opportunity, went to the scene and just simply handed the wallet over to Croy and said, "Here you go." He threw it down. This would seem to make sense since no witness saw the gunman throwing down anything. The civilian then disappeared. What happened to the wallet? It disappeared too. Why? We do not know. And I have some extra stuff I can talk about, but that's sort of a mouthful what I just said, so I'll let you respond.
Well, first of all, did you literally say direct quote, "We possibly have to conclude"? You said, since no sane killer would leave his wallet at the scene after shooting a police officer, we possibly have to conclude.
I didn't say possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I wrote it down when you said it. We possibly have to conclude. Okay, all right.
No one saw the killer. Yeah.
You said that the wallet seen in the news footage. You're talking about the Ron Reland film, Ryland film.
Yes, that's the only one.
There's news footage of the wallet being inspected, and you said that this directly contradicts the official version. That's not true at all.
Say it again. Let's say it again.
You said that news footage showing the wallet being inspected at the scene.
Yes.
Directly. You said it contradicts the official version. That is not true.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
You did say that. That's exactly what you said. You said it contradicts the official version.
No, I think no. This is what I said. I said if what Hosty wrote in his book, that contradicts the official story. But we know it was not, Oswald's arrest wallet. Is that what you're saying?
No. What you said basically was the news footage showing the wallet being inspected. You said that it contradicts the official version. That's what you said.
No. If.
Okay, so you're putting an if in there. That's what I wanted to be clear on.
I'm saying, listen. I'm saying.
Did you know that there's no?
If it was Oswald's arrest wallet, which it was not.
Well, sure it was.
It would convict.
Okay, but that's not quite what you said. But I get it now. So did you know that there's no report filed by Captain Westbrook of handling an Oswald Heidel wallet?
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to know.
And do you know that Bob Barrett, FBI agent, states that Westbrook asked him at the scene if he ever heard the names Oswald or Heidel, and Barrett did go to Westbrook's office upon arriving at the police department, and he could be confused on when it was that Westbrook asked him about the two names. Okay, but here's the thing: no reports were ever filed mentioning Oswald or Heidel wallet being found at the scene by anybody.
That's what I want to know.
And Kenneth Corey makes no mention of a wallet in his Warren Commission testimony.
That's
okay,
what I want to know too. That's what I want to know.
So why can't you just understand that these guys are full of shit sometimes later?
Wow.
First of all, Bob Barrett has no
Wow.
credibility. Bob Barrett has no credibility once the 1980s came along, and he said this stuff he said this like in the 90s, right?
No. Okay. You have wow. I can't believe you called Agent Barrett, Kenneth Croy, and Jazz full of shit. That speaks.
Listen. Bob Barrett claimed that he took possession of Oswald's revolver at the Texas Theater. That's not true at all.
Say that. No, he didn't say that.
Yes, he did. He said it in a radio interview, a newspaper interview. He said it, there's a newspaper article.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah. And you're trying to say and you once said that the damn newspaper reporter messed up and got the facts wrong. That's bullshit too. Bob Barrett told a newspaper interviewer, and it's in the newspaper article, that he took possession of the revolver. It's not true. He has no credibility once the 80s came along. Okay. No, listen, Kenneth Corey makes no mention of a wallet in his Warren Commission testimony. Kenneth Corey said that a wallet at the scene had not even one ID in the name of Oswald and no photo of Oswald inside the wallet. Croy and Barrett directly conflict each other on whether or not Oswald ID was in the wallet. Nope. Now also, so Eddie Kinsley and J.C. Butler, these were the ambulance attendants.
Yeah, they
never saw a wallet. Ted Calloway helped load the body in the ambulance before Croy arrived, or right as Croy was arriving, and he never saw a wallet found at the scene. Okay. Poe and Jez, neither one ever saw a wallet found at the scene. If Oswald's wallet was found at the scene, the whole world would have known about it. It would have been all over the news. They wouldn't have been able to stop it. Okay. Several radio and TV reporters at the scene, none of them ever reported an Oswald wallet was found by the police. Barrett filed a report that day, and no mention whatsoever of an Oswald or Hedel wallet found at the scene. And you want to take what he told Hosty in the 90s. Croy and Barrett make no mention of any wallet for over 30 years.
That's what I want to know.
Okay. Well, then that's that then.
I cannot believe you're saying the things you're saying, because you act like I have no answers to what you're saying, but actually I do to every single one of them. Okay, so let's go right down the bat. You said if Oswald's wallet was found at the scene, don't you think the whole world would know about it? Well, it was on the news that day, hence the news footage of it. Also on that day, and many people don't know this, the news did indeed report it was Oswald's wallet.
Right. I just talked about the Ryland film, and Ron Ryland made one comment. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't know what he was talking about, and you even proved he didn't know what he was talking about.
No, bro, I'm talking about the news. You said that the wallet, that the whole world would have known about it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Like I said, it was on the news that day, hence the news footage of it. And also on that day.
No. What was on the news that day?
I'm trying to get to it, brother, but you
said it was on the news that day. I'm asking you, what do you mean by it?
I'm trying to get, if I can finish my thought for once, I will get there. Many people don't know this. The news did indeed report that the wallet in the news footage was Oswald's wallet that day. They said
by Ron Reland.
No. This is something else. This is when they're narrating as it's going. It aired 3 times that day.
Matt, that was Ron Reland doing the narrating.
The first time they mistakenly said it was Tippett's wallet, as I just said earlier. Remember that? We know that's not true. But then afterwards, they corrected it, seemingly corrected it, and they said, quote, and they're showing the news footage, and it says, quote, checking the wallet from the suspect, Oswald. And so it is. On November 22nd, 1963, it was called Oswald's wallet.
And on November 22nd, 1963, a Secret Service agent died in Dealey Plaza.
That's a whole different different topic.
They even do it today still. They make mistakes like that. But the whole world did not know, quote, know that it was Oswald's wallet, because it wasn't. Why didn't Croy or Barrett or Westbrook file a report?
I have answers for that. Are you going to let me?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you said, okay, first of all, you said that Bob Barrett might have been confused about when he was asked by Westbrook about the names in the wallet, right?
Yeah, because he's recalling this like 30 years later.
No. You said Barrett could have been confused about when he was asked by Westbrook about when he was asked about the names in the wallet, correct?
Right, because Barrett went to Westbrook's office upon
No,
arriving.
nope,
No, hold
nope.
on. Upon arriving at downtown at headquarters, Barrett went to Westbrook's office. And that could have been when Westbrook had a wallet in his possession, because by this time Oswald was already in custody, and Westbrook is asking Barrett about the two names, Oswald Hiddell.
Yes,
Barrett did go to Westbrook's office
correct. So
upon arriving at headquarters.
And where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? That he was at Westbrook's office and he saw him later. Where'd you get that from?
That's just common knowledge.
No, tell me.
I couldn't tell you where I got it. I know the case, and that's common knowledge.
Tell me the source of it.
I just told you, Matt.
Okay.
I can't tell you where I got that from. I know the case is common knowledge.
I think your memory is faulty, because let me quote Bob Barrett him directly. It's impossible for him to have talked to Westbrook later, and maybe that's when he was asked the names, because as Barrett told your bro Myers himself, quote, "The only time I spoke to Westbrook at any time was at the murder scene." That's with Malice, page 366. So I have no idea where you're getting from. Oh, he talked to him later.
Yeah, it's common knowledge that Barrett went to Westbrook's office upon arriving at headquarters. And Barrett most likely, in my opinion, most likely confused when he's recalling it 30 years later.
No, there's no evidence that he talked to him later. There is no evidence. I've looked it up. There's nothing.
I will post evidence. I will post evidence when this debate is over on the discussions in the groups that of Barrett going to Westbrook's office. I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
Well, but why didn't Barrett file a report?
And it's not there.
Why didn't Barrett file a report? He did file a report, but why didn't he mention the wallet? An Oswald Hiddell wallet in his report.
He was asked about that. And he said he didn't think it was. He said, "quote." Wait, hold on. First of all, I want to reemphasize that you're wrong about him talking with Westbrook later, because Barrett, quote, again, Barrett said, quote, "The only time I spoke to Westbrook at any time was at the murder scene." So I have no idea where you're getting that from.
Yeah, and when did Barrett say this, and to who?
That comes from With Malice, page 366.
No, but when? So he said that to Dale Myers.
Yep, it's right in the book. So I have no idea why why you and him come up with this. Oh, he saw him later. And that's when he might have been confused about the names. There's no evidence for that.
Because he said this to Dale Myers over 30 years later, Matt.
It's not.
He didn't mention the wallet in his report that day because he didn't see one.
In the book, he never said once that he saw Westbrook again later. He said, "I only saw him one time at the scene." So again, you can look for it, but you're not going to find it.
Barrett went to Westbrook's office.
Embarrassment.
Yeah. When they got back to headquarters, Bob Barrett went into Westbrook's office, and that could be when Westbrook asked him about the names Oswald and Hiddell.
That's what you're claiming.
That's right, and I'll prove it. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Once this debate is over, and because I'm not sitting here Googling stuff and thumbing through files like you're doing right now, I'll have to go find it, but I can certainly post it. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
So what? I have notes to get the sources right.
Okay, and I don't want to sit here and give a source that I don't think is true. I'm not going to guess on a source, so I'll go find it.
I've looked for it, and you're not going to find it, so I was just going to save you the embarrassment. But anyway, yeah. So that lame excuse about he could have been asked later is not true, because he only talked to Westbrook at the crime scene, not later.
You only say it's lame because you don't like it.
You can look for it. You're not going to find it.
So where's the report? Where's the Barrett filed a report. Where's the mention of an Oswald / Hiddell wallet in this report filed by Barrett that day?
He explained more than once why he didn't put it in there.
And he explained that when?
Let's see. He was asked, why didn't you put that in there? Okay, so Jones Harris asked Barrett, why didn't you mention it in his report? And Bob Barrett replied, what's the point, Mr. Harris? After all, the man was dead. Oswald was dead. Okay, and
no. Barrett filed a report that day. Oswald was not dead until Sunday. Barrett filed a report that day. And he did not mention.
He said the man is Oswald. I'm sorry. He said the man. So he said, what was the point?
You said, what was the point? The man was dead.
Yeah. What's
Okay,
the
you're
point?
talking. You're talking about. I'm talking about on November 22nd, 1963.
Yeah.
Barrett filed a report. He didn't mention the wallet. Oswald wasn't dead until the 24th.
It wasn't mentioned in his wallet. He said, "What was the point, Mr. Harris? After all, the man was dead." That's what he wrote.
I know, Matt.
Or it
But
said.
so how does the man being dead relate to a report that Barrett filed on November 22nd?
Okay, and then Vincent Bugliosi asked.
No. Well, hold on a second. Now you can't just skip right over that.
Not skipping over it. This goes to it.
I'm asking you a question, and you literally are not answering it.
Yes, I am. Listen,
No, you're not. You're talking about, well, what's the point? The man was dead. The man was dead after the 24th.
He said. Yeah, so
Matt,
he
you understand what I'm asking you. How does Barrett's report on the 22nd relate to Oswald being dead on the 24th?
He said he should have put it. I'm not talking about Oswald. I'm not sure who the man is. He just said, what was the point? And
he's talking about Oswald, for crying out loud. What's the point? The man was dead. He's talking about there's not going to be a trial. Why do we need to worry about all this stuff for now? That kind of thing is what he's trying to say.
What he said. Okay, can I finish? Okay, and then Vincent Bugliosi asked him the same question. Why didn't you put it in your report? And Bob Barrett said, quote, the police, already had the guy who killed Tippit, and the wallet just added juice to the steak. So he explained it, why he didn't put it in there. And in another interview, he said, I should have put it in there. It should have been in there. So
all this stuff is in the 90s and the 2000s, nothing from the 60s when it counted.
No, he reported on it back in 1978.
To who?
To Hosty over dinner.
You sure about that?
Yeah, that's according to your bro Dale Myers' his blog.
Okay.
It's 15 years later, while having dinner with fellow agent James Hosty, Barrett recalled that Dallas Police Captain Westbrook asked him at the Tippit scene whether he knew Lee Harvey Oswald and Hidell. And you also say that, Bob Barrett did not mention this until 30 years later. That's a lie. That's not true. I found some articles in the early 80s, in the 1980s, where he mentioned the wallet. So your whole argument is, well, Barrett didn't talk about it until 30 years later.
So it's probably the same newspaper article where he talks about how he carried Oswald's, how he took possession of Oswald's revolver.
Okay, yeah, and
we know that's not true.
Okay, listen. So for those that don't know, there's an article, which has a lot of errors in it. Okay, that Bob Barrett supposedly said. Now Bob Barrett is consistent in every interview he gave in, identical words, consistent. But this one article, it quotes him as saying all this stuff that we know is not true. So it's my opinion that maybe the reporter who typed it, the reporter just fucked up and did not get it right. So when you have all these interviews, every interview he ever gave, Bob Barrett is consistent, and then you have one where a reporter types it up in an article and a lot of stuff in it is wrong, then therefore we can use deductive reasoning to infer that the reporter just messed up. Okay, so yes, I know you're using that as a wedge to say, well, he said all these claims, but no, he was consistent for many years, and he explained why he didn't, more than once, why he didn't put it in his original report. And you said, you talked about Kinsley and Calloway and Butler not seeing a wallet on the ground. Well, that's totally misleading, since Sergeant Croy, like I said that a civilian had approached him and handed him the wallet. So that little argument is bunk. Okay?
Croy made no mention of a wallet in his Warren Commission testimony.
So what?
So you don't think he would have mentioned a freaking Oswald wallet?
Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff. That's
nonsense. That's nonsense.
Again, this is what he said.
Kenneth Croy would have mentioned that wallet in his testimony. There's no doubt about it.
You know that there's a lot of stuff that people didn't testify to. That again, this is why I keep telling the viewers.
You're twisting the Warren Commission testimony to fit your narrative. You're twisting it to hell, and all I'm simply doing is telling you what they said to the Warren Commission.
So like I said, like I keep saying, and this is very important, you always have to check with the actual eyewitness and ask them, more questions that they weren't asked. Did you say in another one of your interviews you said that Poe and Jazz said they never? You claimed that Poe and Jazz said they never saw the wallet. Well, that's not true. Officer Poe said he simply couldn't recall. And Officer Jazz, he in fact told researchers at a 1999 conference that the wallet was identified again at the murder scene as belonging to Oswald.
Yeah, because he's making an assumption in 1999 at the information that he's heard since then based on Barrett and Hosty.
No, it's not. He said, quote, he told them, quote, "I do not want to be formally interviewed on the subject." Hence him not mentioning it and denying it to Myers in 1996.
Matt, so he simply had heard because of Hosty's book about Westbrook and this wallet. So he's talking in 1999, and now he thinks he's learned new information. Oh. So he mentions it in 1999 as if it's fact because he's heard it just a few years ago.
You don't know what's inside his mind. They sat down and talked to him.
Neither do you.
He mentioned an Oswald wallet being there.
Based on information that he had learned since, which is what I'm trying to tell you.
How do you know that?
You got to be able to put stuff together, and you're failing.
No. Okay, so you're just assuming that he heard it and he's just fabricating. No, that's absolutely not. He said it was Oswald's wallet, and he explained why he said he does not want to be formally interviewed on it, and that's why he told it privately. Yes, Oswald's wallet and Oswald wallet was found there. So, and then we have Sergeant Croy, who said that it was Oswald's wallet as well. So you don't get three officials.
Croy said it was Oswald's wallet years later when he wants to be a hero. He says, "I found Oswald's wallet." He didn't say that in 1964 to us. He has signed his autograph on photos, basically signing his autograph and found Oswald's wallet at the scene. Stupid shit like that.
Where'd you get that from?
I've heard it.
Heard it from where?
Hell, Matt, if you haven't heard it, I'll educate you in the group discussions after it's over.
Okay. No, but Sergeant Croy said that a civilian approached him, handed him a wallet, and said, "Here you go." The killer threw this down, and the civilian disappeared. But like I said, we know that the killer did not throw it down because no one saw a wallet on the street. So the civilian handed it to him. And Croy put in writing, like I said, it's in writing, we have it, that it was identified as being Oswald's wallet. So you don't get three officials, an FBI agent and two cops all on the scene. You don't get them saying that there's an Oswald ID in there by an oopsie. It's as simple as that. So the question is, why was it there? Like I said, it's possible that this civilian, this is a very big conundrum. Is it entirely out of the realm that, like I said, a conspirator could have just walked up and said, "Here you go," and handed him an Oswald wallet? Again, we don't have definite conclusions on this.
A minute ago, I told you that Barrett went to Westbrook's office upon arriving at headquarters, and you said that didn't happen. And you said you're trying to save me the embarrassment.
Yeah. What you're going to do is you're probably going to read, I believe it's jdtippit.com and Myers' website, but it's a claim.
No, I'm not on a website at all.
Okay.
But I'm looking at something here. I'm not on jdtippit.com, but I'm looking at something here.
Let's read it.
The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Activities interview of Robert Barrett dated December 17th, 1975. Okay. And what it says by Barrett, quote, "I proceeded to the Dallas Police Department where I went to the office of Captain Westbrook to offer what assistance I could in connection with the preparation of the arrest report concerning Oswald. I did this because Oswald had made some statements about his civil rights being violated, and I wanted the report to show that an FBI agent had been present during the arrest and would be in a position to furnish details concerning the arrest and those allegations." All right. And again, that is interview of Robert Barrett, December 17th, 1975, Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Activities. So I told you earlier, because I knew it, that Barrett went to Westbrook's office upon arriving at headquarters, and you told me I was wrong.
Where did he
will you address that now?
Yeah. So did he say when he arrived at his office?
I proceeded to the Dallas Police Department, where I went to the office of Captain Westbrook.
When did he go there?
I just read directly what he said, Matt.
No, when did he go to his office?
It's said, I don't know. You have to figure it out on your own.
Don't know.
You have to figure this out on your own, some of the stuff. I proceeded to the Dallas Police Department, where I went to the office of Captain Westbrook to offer what assistance I could. He's telling you straight up right there. This is in 1975 when he still had his wits about him, not when he started losing it in the 80s and 90s. He said that he went to Westbrook's office. He tells you this specifically. And I told you this 5 minutes ago, and you told me I was a liar or I was wrong.
I didn't say you're a liar.
You have said I was a liar a couple times already.
No, I didn't say that. Barrett said, quote, "The only time I spoke to Westbrook at any time was at the murder scene."
I proceeded to the Dallas Police Department, where I went to the office of Captain Westbrook to offer what assistance I could in connection with the preparation of the arrest report concerning Oswald. So this is before an arrest report was even filled out. Okay, so this tells you roughly when he went to Westbrook's office.
If he did go to his office.
I did this because Oswald had made some statements about his civil rights being violated, and I wanted the report to show that an FBI agent had been present during the arrest and would be in a position to furnish details concerning the arrest and these allegations, these civil rights.
He probably went to his office much later, but he said, quote,
Matt, the arrest report hadn't even been filed yet. He went to assist with it. That's the reason he went to.
Like I said,
he went to Westbrook's office to assist with the arrest report, Matt.
Yes. When was that?
Before the arrest report was written up.
So you're saying it was on the 22nd?
Yes, absolutely on the 22nd. That's what I've been saying.
I know.
And you're telling me that that's wrong.
What we have is a split. Okay, so what we have now is a split.
Before we move on, I want to ask you directly. Do you now believe that Barrett went to Westbrook's office or not?
Okay, so like I just said, we have a split. We have one quote where he says he went to his office and that's it. And then we have another quote where he says, "The only time I spoke to him that day was at the murder scene." So now we have a split. Which one's true?
Well, the one he told a Senate investigation in 1975, to me, is more credible than something he would have told to James Hosty or anybody else in the 80s or 90s.
To your favorite book, With Malice, page 366. "The only time I spoke to Westbrook at any time was at the murder scene." Maybe he went to the office later, but he's emphatic. The only time
in 1975, he tells you that he went to Westbrook's office to assist with the arrest report.
What time?
Before the arrest report was written up, obviously.
And when was that written? I'm going to make you actually Google Oswald's arrest report yourself. No. Tell me, when was that report made?
After after Barrett went to Westbrook's office. That's when the report was made.
What we have is a split. So what we have is a split. We have two quotes.
No, the split is that you told me I was wrong, and you're wrong for telling me I was wrong. It's general knowledge. It should have been general knowledge that Bob Barrett went to Westbrook's office when he arrived at the police department. And when I said that earlier, you told me that I was wrong, and there's no evidence of it. I specifically have given you evidence of it, and now you want to rely on something that he said 20 years after that.
Okay, so yeah, that was actually the first time I heard about that. So
okay. And that's fair enough.
So King's to you, but this quote is just as powerful. The only time
it's not just as powerful. Nope.
Because so yes, it is, because Barrett.
No, it's not, because by the time he made the quote by the time he said what you're quoting him on, he also said that he carried Oswald's revolver out of the theater.
Okay, so you're pivoting back to that article, which we already discussed.
I'm attacking his credibility in the 80s and 90s compared to 1975 when he was being interviewed by a Senate investigation.
Okay, we're jumping around now. We already discussed that article and how it's wrong. Okay, but you're still using it as a wedge. But anyway, no. Yeah. So what we have is a split. We have one. We don't know what time, when, really, he allegedly went to his office. But anyway,
the arrest report.
Hold on. Barrett was asked was asked, is it possible that you were asked in his office later and not at the scene? And Barrett said, no, absolutely not. I'm going to read you this. I'm going to read you this because Barrett is straight as an arrow. Okay. Quote, the wallet was there at the scene. There's no getting around it. Westbrook had the wallet in his hand and asked me if I knew who these people were. I'm adamant. The questions were asked of me at the scene. I'm positive of that.
Well, everybody's positive there was a wallet at the scene. It's on Ron Ryland's film footage. Yeah. And we should move on. We should move on. Unless you have any other points to make about the wallet, we should move on.
Well, he said, you have 3 officials saying it was Oswald's wallet, and
okay, so Oswald's wallet was found at the scene. Okay,
and Oswald wallet.
That just means he was there, as far as I'm concerned. So the next topic, we should move on to the next topic.
The wallet was.
We should move on.
Turn it in.
Let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, and off this topic.
So the next topic is mine, which is
okay.
All right, and it's the revolver, serial number V-510210. If anybody's curious, Oswald told Fritz when he was being interrogated that he bought the revolver in Fort Worth, but truth be known, he really bought it from Seaport Traders out of Los Angeles under the name of Hidell, age 28. It's like, I think it was $29.95, and he included I think he included $10 when he sent it off and had to pay remaining $19.95 when he picked it up, plus a small shipping charge, in COD. He on the order form for the revolver, he used a witness named D.F. Driddle, and this witness signed in the section verifying that the Hidell who was buying the revolver was a U.S. citizen and not a felon. Crazy how simple that was back in the 60s. So this D.F. Driddle is a witness to Hidell being a U.S. citizen and not a felon. Handwriting experts Alwyn Cole for the U.S. Treasury Department and also James Cadigan of the FBI, they both concluded that they examined the handwriting. They concluded that Hidell and Driddle were both in the same handwriting, and it was Oswald's handwriting. Now, the revolver obviously was shipped to a P.O. Box rented by Oswald, P.O. Box 2915, which was rented by Oswald. That's where the revolver was shipped to. And in Marina's testimony to the Warren Commission, she ID'd the revolver as belonging to Oswald, and she ID'd the holster found in the rooming house also as belonging to Oswald. And I don't know if you really have anything to say about the revolver, and that's fine if you don't. I just feel like any time there's discussion going on about the Tippit murder, that the revolver, the murder weapon, should be addressed. And Oswald ordered, bought, and received that revolver.
Yeah, so I have to agree with my friend and mentor, a guy named David Lifton, who you probably heard of. He agrees that Oswald ordered the rifle and the revolver. So, and he's right. He's finishing up the definitive biography on Oswald, so he knows his stuff. So I have to agree with him. I really don't see any reason why he did not order the revolver, but that does not mean that he shot Tippit. But you said Marina.
Well, it does, but we'll get into that later on a different,
okay,
a different topic.
You said Marina recognized it as the one owned by her husband. But actually, what did she say? Again, she's not credible. What did she say originally? This is from CD 344, page 24. Quote, and this is the questioner and the interpreter, because she spoke Russian, the questioner's and the interpreter's response. Did Lee own a pistol? She said she never saw a pistol that Lee owned. Did he ever have any in his possession? She said not necessarily owned, but in his possession. Answer. She said that she saw the rifle, but she has never seen a pistol on Lee, or on his possession or in the house. Again, that's CD 344, page 24. I just wanted to bring that up. But anyway.
Yeah. But that's interesting considering that she did ID the holster and the revolver, for what it's worth.
We were just talking about the revolver. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah. And so your next topic would be jealous husband?
So like I said,